Welcome to today's edition of The Buzz. Today is Wednesday, it's midweek, and it's the 15th of May 2024. So not only is today midweek, it's also mid-month, okay? So it's a special kind of Wednesday. Welcome to the show. This is where we analyze and we discuss trending news issues coming off of the social media space, and today we'll be doing just that. Have you heard about the senator that donated 500,000 white cloth and 500,000 clay pots, both items used for burial, as part of his constituency projects in Kano State? Also, in a related development, in Niger State, a lawmaker also proposed to sponsor the mass wedding of 100 girls who have been orphaned due to banditry attacks. All right, so this is being discussed on social media space. Funny constituency projects. How far? All right, my name is Patience. It's a pleasure to be here as always, and I'm being joined at the table this afternoon by one of my regular analysts. He's a journalist, lecturer, and of course a public affairs analyst. The indefatigable Mr. Nuruddin Adigbenro himself is here. Good afternoon, Mr. Adigbenro.
Good afternoon, and you know, Nigeria is a country of comedies, and at times we need all these comedies to just water down the challenges. So it's always very, very good. And good afternoon to our viewers.
Welcome to the show, sir. All right, we're still expecting to join us at the table, Mr. Segun Sopitan. We hope he gets here on time. Meanwhile, let me quickly welcome you, the viewer, to the program. Thank you for tuning in. Please join us on the show. Engage us using the line on the screen via text messages. Also, you can watch the show live on X, formerly Twitter, or watch from Star Times, or just download the Galaxy TV app on your mobile devices and watch us on the go. Having said that, the federal government to introduce wage system based on workers' productivity. Federal government has said it is formulating an innovative wage system based on employer productivity. Dr. Nasir Raji Mustafa, who is Director General of the National Productivity Center, NPC, said this during an interactive session with the Labour Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Abuja on Monday. According to him, and I quote, "We are in the process of developing a productivity-led wage system that will ensure that those who are productive are rewarded for their efforts, irrespective of their grade level. Under the proposed system, employees on the same salary scale can earn different wages." End of quote. He, however, said the center was collaborating with organized labor to ensure that they support and contribute their inputs to the new proposal on a productivity-led wage system. All right, so Mr. Adigbenro, on this wage system thing proposed by the federal government, this is coming, you know, while talks are still on by Labour and the federal government on what the new minimum wage should be in the first place. Nothing has been decided in that regard. All right, so what the federal government is here proposing another type of reward system for workers, you know, in terms of remunerations, the wage system. Let's look at that critically and look also at the peculiarity of our environment. I know this is used in some other countries, but the peculiarity of our environment and how workable this proposal by the federal government is. All right, so while we're talking, my second guest walked into the studio. Let's take a very quick break and allow him to take a seat at the table. Meanwhile, we learned that some students, let me quickly fish that out. Give me a minute. I think, all right, yeah. So according to the video making the rounds online, we hear that last week Thursday, bandits invaded the Confluence University of Science and Technology located in Okene, that's Kogi State, and they abducted some students. An eyewitness account indicated that the bandits swooped on the university around 9 p.m. while the students were reading for their upcoming exams. Now, they also said the bandits came in through the bush, went into 3 lecture halls and began to shoot into the air in order to scare the students. They trapped the students inside the halls and started taking them. Well, the school, according to reports, was thrown into total confusion as fear-stricken students in other halls ran for safety. Now, by the time local security guards and the conventional security men at the gate engaged the bandits, they had already succeeded in abducting some students. All right, so let's go see the video. This one happened at the Confluence University in Kogi State. We'll be right back. Happened at the Confluence University in Kogi State. All right, we'll get to that video later in the program. I just had to roll that for us to allow my guest take a seat at the table. And of course, he's a business and finance expert. He's also the chairman, ACT Network, a pro-good governance advocacy group, and also a public affairs analyst, Mr. Segun Sopiton. Good afternoon, Mr. Sopiton.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Apologies for being late.
Accepted. Okay, you're welcome anyways. All right, so before you go here, we started with the wage system as being proposed by the federal government. All right, so we'll begin with you, Mr. Adigbenro. My question again is, how workable is this, taking into cognizance the peculiarity of our environment?
You know, this administration, I don't know, the way they reason in terms of bargaining with any association or any group is always faulty. And since the administration, by May 29, this administration will be 1 year in office. They have never negotiated with any association that I know of that ends well. They always make sure that they throw the towel in the middle of the fight. They are talking about minimum wage, which is statutorily. You are throwing the issue of the wage award. The wage award they started. Let me give Lagos State as an example. Those people working with Lagos State government, they are collecting 35,000 naira. People working in local government, they are collecting 25,000 naira. Which kind of wage award is there? Those people working with local government, they are not local government staff. They are just working for the local. Anybody working in local government was working for the state, because they are being controlled by the Lagos State Civil Service Commission, because they have a commission propagated by the edit of Lagos State that is controlling them. How cool? Because if you are working for local government today, when you get to some certain level, they can move you to the state. How come somebody is going to be talking 35 while some people are talking? And those local government chairman, if they want to talk, we are giving them how much? Another one. Then two, did you know that the way that was given by federal government, they are still owing civil servants, federal civil servants as we speak? Why can't you negotiate the one that is statutorily? We are giving you so amount, and it should take effect immediately. That one is one. Then two, the way that award system they want to do, that means it's not everybody. If it's going to be on productivity, not everybody will collect. And when everybody will not, that means if I am your boss and I don't like your face, no matter what you do, if I didn't recommend you, rate you based on productivity, forget it, you will not get that kind of money. Then another thing again is that, which kind of system do we have on ground in civil service? You know, in private organization it's always very easy, but in federal civil service we know where some people are going to work 3 times in a day. In some, not all of them, but some people, where some people did not even go to work, they are collecting salary. We are from the pocket of the federal government. Some people are collecting money because they served Nigeria for 4 or 8 years. We are in some certain state, those people that have served not as a civil servant but as a politician, they are still collecting salary after leaving that particular office. What I think is very needed, and I'm not a proponent of all these wage whatever. What I need is this: anything that will make the life of worker okay for me, transportation, shelter, health, education of their children. If government are taking one way of the burden of all this, or all of this, I'm telling you, even if you are collecting 100,000 naira per month,
it will suffice.
It will suffice, because what the house is saying, especially in Lagos, in Ogun State, in Ibadan. Gone are the set of people who say in Ibadan the house is not expensive, forget, not today. So if government have to, that is the area that I think our labor unions needs to be working. And another thing again is that TUC and NLC, I think they are not tactical enough in dealing with this particular government. If they continue with the way they are continuing, I'm telling you, this particular administration will still make them that their head is going to still shaking. Okay. What is important is that whatever that is going to be make the life of the workers so okay for them. You don't, everybody is not going to be a billionaire. I always tell people, me, I have never prayed to God, though I want to be a billionaire over my dead body. I just want a little money that I'll be able to cater for myself, my family, and those people around, and give alms to the poor. Even if it is thousands and I can manage only, not that I want to be a billionaire. Everybody cannot be a billionaire. We must put that thing into our head.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adigbenro. All right, so Mr. Sokwito, first off, I want you to break down this wage system, you know, for that viewer who doesn't understand what that kind of reward system is for workers. Also, how easy is it going to be to measure productivity, all right, taking into cognizance the kind of environment we are in, because this is based on how productive you are as a worker. How do you measure that?
Look, when the guy said what he said, you would have thought that he was talking rocket science. What he's saying is something that happens in the private sector every day. It's simple performance-based reward system, right? There are several ways to do that. You can base it on bonuses, special bonuses for special meeting special targets. You can base it on actual salary itself being computed based on a rating mechanism that the organization has in place, a performance measurement system that is point-based. So you can have a system where you say, of course you have to have your KPIs. That goes without saying. You know, so for the purpose of the viewer who may not understand these buzzwords, the KPI is key performance indicator. So your job is, as an engineer, for example, or an accountant in the Federal Civil Service, you have specific items on your job description that you need to deliver. Those items will be rated in order of importance. So let's say, for example, preparing of the monthly expenditure report. So you're in your Auditor General's office, for example. So you say preparing monthly expenditure report for all parastatals under your own purview must be delivered by the 3rd day of every new month. If you deliver that by the 3rd day of every new month, you have met that KPI. So that is your key performance indicator. And then we can now say, allotted to achieving that, you get 5 scores or 5 points. If you achieve it by the 5th day, instead of getting 5 points, you get 4. If you achieve it by the 15th day, and so on and so forth, until you get 0 for that particular indicator. And then you can break down the person's job all the way down that way and award points accordingly. This is just an example. There are several other ways that this can be done. You know, so is it a good idea? Absolutely fantastic. I have been a proponent of productivity, the fact that the civil service is not just an overbloated civil service. That's not a problem. It's not a key problem. The problem is that the civil service is not a productive civil service. So if we can tie financial rewards to productivity, it will be amazing. The challenge I have with this is that it is you are picking a big elephant. The problem is an elephant. You now pick the toenail and say you want to polish it. Meanwhile, the whole elephant is dirty. You know, you still have a dirty elephant. This issue is only one out of this myriad problems bedeviling our civil service. I've always maintained, Mama, that for any president to succeed in this country, any president, and I've always said, no president has succeeded so far. You can measure their success or performance depending on your own point of view. But if we look at the results around us, power, electricity, healthcare, education, infrastructure, total failure, all the way from beginning to the end. So the reason for this, I've always maintained that the primary reason for this is an ineffective civil service. Because government services and deliverance of good governance, the base, the foundational base, are the civil
Civil
servants.
servants.
They're the ones that are going to perform anything that the minister says. It is the PAMSEC that will now sit down with him and break it down, give it to the directors. Then the directors will look at the departmental heads and it cascades down until the thing gets done. If you have a civil service that is not productive or that is corrupt, then you have a problem on your hands. You can never do anything successfully. So before we start talking of productivity-based wage system, that is only an element in the entire reforms that the civil service requires. So I've always said that any president that will succeed in this country must take on the huge elephant of civil service reforms. You have to look at the size of the civil service and the productivity of the civil service and find a way to develop systems that will ensure that you fix both. Going about it in this very random, out of the blues approach will not work. And, like Mr. Adebiro said, they will shut it down. Now, Labour will shut this thing down, it will not work. The civil servants themselves will shut it down. It will not work. So before you get there, before you start talking about these types of things that are systemic, that will ensure that the civil service delivers the things that it needs to deliver for this country to progress, you have to fix the more fundamental issues and deal with the corruption, the rot, all of the Iroko trees. There are people that are principalities in that system. You have to fix them. Yes, I'm with Diaraba. You have to fix them, take care of all of that. Then you can now start talking about, okay, how do we get this civil service to be productive? Oh, let's introduce wage-based performance system. Of course, with that carry labor along, you know, and all of that. So it's a nice idea, but as usual, so far with the way government tends to do things, not just this administration, it's just coming out of the blue. Somebody just has a brainwave. They have not sat down with all the stakeholders. They've not developed a clear blueprint, and they just move forward. You know, it's nice, but it won't take us anywhere.
Look, in a practical civil service rules, he's talking about KPI. If you use KPI in federal and state and local government, even commissioner that is coming to office twice in a week, permanent secretary that he has some people that come into the service even through him or her, or I know a particular civil servant in his office alone, I won't mention the name of that state, he's not, maybe he's a senior officer, he has 5 assistants cleaning his own office, 5. So if you want to use KPI, 1 office, 5 cleaner. That one is 1. Then another thing again is that with the level of corruption, I have a friend. I will not mention them. One of them will be watching this program. They enter Nigerian police the same day with the same qualification. As I speak today, one is a sergeant, one is SP. The same day, one moves to Mopo, the other one also moves to Mopo. They come back, they still come back at the same time. They answer the same way, they went to the same training. So just to tell you, is that which KPI somebody wants to use? For somebody that by 2 years his promotion is guaranteed, and somebody that is working harder, but because he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have anybody up there. So one thing that is there, if this wage award, what will happen is just that some certain people that have big people there will be won. What is important as at now is this: make the life of Nigerian workers, let them feel that they are working from the beginning. From when I was primary school, I have vowed that I can never work for government. I have vowed, and God really accepted my prayer. I will never, because one thing there is this: you cannot do something as a boss that is not right. I will now keep short. So, but what is important here is that I know now. In fact, there was a time that they gave me offer to go and join police. I've signed everything to just go and submit. And my elder brother, God bless his soul, he said, Nuruddin, if you submit this and they enroll you into police force, I pray that I will not lose you on time.
Thank God you did not take that for. Okay. All right, we're still looking at the federal government's proposal to introduce the wage system based on the productivity of individual workers. And all of this is coming in the midst of ongoing talks about what the new minimum wage would be between the federal government and the labor unions.